So I suppose first of all, how has it been so far?
It's been a journey. It's been quite a journey. A lot of highs, very high highs, very low lows, and now it's just a matter of just pushing through and seeing what the rest of the run has in store. Because it's still we've hit the halfway mark, but that's usually actually it's kind of funny. So I saw this reel this morning that was from like a doula,
Hmm?
and she was saying how like there's a universal phrase that like all birth givers say before they're about like transition from like early labor, like multiple stages in early labor to when they're actually about to give birth.
Hmm.
And it's usually when the birth giver says, I can't do this anymore. And then that's when they push and that's when they're actually going to do it. And so she said, like, even when you're not like at that point, I'm not going to cry already. We just started.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
it's like, I know I'm there. So
Hmm.
just pushing through.
How obviously it's been a bit rough. I
Yeah.
can tell it's been a bit rough, but you are having a good time. I can.
No, I love
You
it.
are.
Yeah, I do. This is so embarrassing that I'm crying
Don't
so
even.
early.
It's fine.
No, it's just been like maybe a bit of overstimulate. Excuse me, bit of overstimulation and just trying to keep it together. But I know it is getting better. Like our audiences are getting bigger, and it can be a little discouraging seeing bigger acts and all of that. And but I still have a few more days, so it's not like over yet. And
Hmm.
I'm grateful for this opportunity because I'm still lucky that I'm even here.
Hmm.
I've been joking that I've been taking this as like a C's get degrees mentality where it's like, oh, like if it's not exactly what I want, that's okay. It's still like like I still got into Harvard. Like I'm still
Yeah.
in Edinburgh. So that's fine. So I'm sorry that like I'm already crying and we haven't even
Oh,
started
listen,
like
don't.
2 minutes in.
Absolutely fine.
Jesus.
Sorry, I didn't. I haven't actually pressed record on that,
Even
but
better.
it's
So
up there. But it's
no.
fine. It's all good. I suppose right. Well, we had a chance to chat very
Yeah.
briefly, kind of middle of last week,
Yeah.
and that went out live on the radio. But people still need to know about your show. Then, so
Yeah.
tell us a bit about your show,
For
and just
sure.
kind of
No, I mean I'm not saying like
feel it,
I'm
feel it back.
fine. Yeah, no, I'm totally fine. No, my show is great. It's called My Life as an Inspirational Porn Star. It's about me as said inspirational porn star, and it's true stories of sex, drugs, and everything else they don't tell you about being an autistic bisexual woman.
And there's a lot of stuff you didn't say on the radio, which I understand why.
Yeah.
But now we can kind of
Yeah, we can actually talk about the show. Yes.
get a bit more into that. Like, obviously, this is a lot of your story,
Yes.
and you'd said when we spoke initially about like you're inspirational porn. That's the
Right.
phrase that you regularly use, and it's more about people. Well, you explain it then about what
Yeah.
inspirational porn is.
Yeah, so inspirational porn is a term coined by late activist and comedian Stella Young, who describes the stories of, like what you see on the media as stories of people with disabilities being portrayed as those that, poor innocent babies that need protection, or, oh, like, look at this boy with Down syndrome graduating high school, or, oh, look at this football player. It's always a football player for some reason, like taking the girl with autism to prom, like those, like, oh, and we feel so good, like we're seeing that. But and I think too, like one of the themes I'm dealing with in my show, a lot of meta things, where it's like people would like the idea of, oh, like look at this like person with disabilities, like, oh, like they're getting the help that they need, oh, that's so nice, or, oh, like I feel so inspired by them going through these trials and tribulations, but who's going out of their way to actually help them?
Yeah.
Like it's like passive versus like active inspiration.
And you were diagnosed quite young as well, weren't
Yeah,
you?
2 years old.
2 years old. And how was kind of life growing up as a young autistic girl?
Yeah, so I talk about that in my show too. The like stories of my childhood, where initially, like before the diagnosis, my parents just thought I was the firstborn, so I had all this potential. Like, oh, look what she could do! Like, she could do all the quirks that I had. They didn't think was weird
Hmm.
until, I guess, ironically, they had a label to encompass it. But and actually, so some of the feedback I've gotten from the show is I've had I've had parents of disabled people come to it, especially dads, actually, weirdly enough. And they ask me, you know, like, does the label hinder you or not? And it's like, it gives me an explanation for why I'm the way I am. But I feel like the limits are more by other people's perceptions, not about what I can do necessarily. And so, you know, I guess growing up, I didn't know I had the diagnosis until I was 11, but it didn't mean anything to me until like I actually was feeling ostracized. So had I not been bullied or felt like singled out, then I don't think it would, or be just because it had that stigma.
Right.
And so it's really more about like other people's perceptions that are the problem. It has nothing to do with like what I am or the label.
So do you have like a kind of a goal to kind of try and just educate more people?
It's like educating, but then also the crux of my show is like at the end of the day, I just want to be a person that finds love, and like I ironically, it's this cognitive dissonance of like, oh, look how much I've done, like in spite of all of this, I'm so special. But then in the grand scheme of things, I'm really not. Like, you know, because it's that like cognitive dissonance. And I don't know why I'm getting so emotional for this thing. But especially in the end of my show, I go into like I call out the audience specifically, where I'm like, you're active participants this entire time. I'm literally telling you my entire life story, and all I ask is for you to show up. And it hits different when on nights where I had no one there. So it's like a constant like, you know, it's funny. I've had people even warn me about like, oh, are you re-traumatizing yourself? And I'm like, oh, that's stupid. Because it's like, well, what do we do as actors? You know, we're constantly, I guess, like in the line of fire of our emotions. And it's trying to find the boundaries of like, you know, yes, it's personal, but it shouldn't be that personal because it's still a show outside of myself. But then it's also trying to find the balance, really.
Like you've put a lot into this as well, I think. And I think, speaking as a fellow autistic, I understand the. By the way, at any point you want to take a break and you want to stop, just say so.
Thank you.
It's not an issue at all. I think like when we go all in on something, we can't have that disassociation. Like we put our entire being into something that we feel really, really passionate about, and then when other people don't necessarily feel it, it does hurt.
Yeah,
it does hurt, and I can see that with you as well. That it is hurting. What?
It also shouldn't, because I've had like great feedback, and I'm here, and I've seen so many other shows too that also have, like, I've been inspired by as well. Like even shows with like small audiences too, and those have even been like a privilege as well. And so, and I guess sometimes it gets to a point where like, you know, like you try to keep it together, and then one thing opens up, and then it's hard to contain it. And then even this, I was not expecting to cry so early, so that's embarrassing on my end. But it also shouldn't be, because, you know, and I'm being honest, and that's what most people are afraid of.
And you're being honest with yourself as well, which is important. Let's try and flip to a bit more positive side.
Yes.
Tell me some of the positive experiences that you've had here in Edinburgh so far.
Yeah. So even like I think I'm just like overwhelmed by even the joy too of it all. Like, so a highlight I think of my Edinburgh Fringe has been like, actually funny enough, from like one of my first audiences, where there was a girl who she slipped through the entire Ed Fringe program, found my show, circled it, and told her parents like, I need to see this show. And she came, made sure she was like there right on time, and her and her mom said that I pretty much got to say things that she felt her entire life in that hour. And even like my costume, like I'm wearing like vintage lingerie and like character shoes, you know, very cabaret style. And she was like, she's wearing character shoes like me. And I am doing something like incredibly, well, it is incredible, because it's like, for her to go through the entire Fringe program and to find my show as the thing that speaks to her, and was like, I need to see this. Like I do hold that in my heart, and I guess the other side of it is heartbreaking because it's like she had a fucking, excuse my language.
It's alright, we can do that here.
Oh yay! She had to go through the whole thing just to find like a piece that like spoke to her, and it's like how many other people wish they could do that and they just don't know.
Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with like whether or not like I'm not doing anything wrong or it's. I went into this like totally blind, like really blind, like no research and. So of course it's going to be like a big learning curve. It's just I guess it's a bit more than I initially anticipated, but I don't regret it, and I don't mean to be so clumped either. It's just like, it's just been a lot, but it's so positive, and like I've had great feedback, and it's like city is beautiful. I'm privileged to like have time specifically just for my art and my art alone. Like I don't have to worry about like other responsibilities, and I'm working with my best friend Mitch, like. And then my family's here this weekend. So it's all good. It's really all good. And then sometimes I just cry because I'm overwhelmed. And
we all do. Yeah. Don't worry about that. At least if your family's here this weekend, you're going to get some right strong hugs this weekend.
Yes.
Which is it's always important. If I remember right, from our initial chat back on the radio, this isn't your first time performing it, is it? You did it back home.
No, I did it in Tampa Fringe, yes.
Yeah. And it was received very well across there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so Tampa Fringe was also a blessing. That's like my home turf. I've lived in Tampa for 10 years. It was my second, I guess technically fourth Fringe I've performed there. But this was my second time where I had my own produced work and performed it, and this is like my first one-woman show ever. And I'll admit like our marketing was easier there because it's a smaller festival, people know who we are, and I think there are also ways of smaller competition was easier to stick out. And then here it's like I'm learning like, okay, maybe some of the boxes we put ourselves in America don't necessarily translate here, because what helped in Tampa was like we're leaning on that. I was more comedic, but then being here, I'm like, okay, did I miscategorize myself as like maybe someone that's more theatrical rather than comedic? And then also just getting used to like, I guess the cultural differences where people aren't like laughing loudly, but it's also a smaller crowd, so it's just a lot of an adjustment period. But no, Tampa was received really well, and family and friends came out. It was a smaller venue, like, all of these things. And, you're not dealing with nearly as much of like the chain, I'm not dealing with like a 5-hour time difference. I'm not dealing with like extra logistical things like, oh, I could just put things in my car, versus, I was dealing with like working my day job and then doing this, and that was stressful. And, it's been a crazy summer, and I'm grateful for it. And I am genuinely happy. It was just one of those like, yeah.
You do have a support network here with you as well.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with my friend Mitch, who is my tech, and I'm making so many friends too, and seeing their works, and it's like, the shows I've seen are just so original, so clever, so like human, and and I think actually what's really happened is like, so I saw a woman in the arena like this week, and that show, like, I just cried the entire time. So it's not because like, their performance was amazing too, but even like, it's kind of like, okay, like this was like a place where I could get that catharsis out, and now I'm at a point where I'm like, oh no, it's trying to stop it now. But even on my like days where I'm like, oh my god, I don't know if I can do it, I still like, I put my makeup on, I put my costume on, I'm still flyering, even though, okay, the Florida girl, unfortunately, this is cold for me.
Yes.
And so I'm putting myself through a lot, and I know I'll be stronger for it. I am stronger for it. And even I guess like just talking about it is like, yeah.
So, obviously I didn't expect go down this route.
I didn't either. I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed about it.
Go on, honestly. And if at any point, as I said, if you want to take a break, take a break. If
Yeah.
at any point that you're not keen on this going out at all, then
Yeah.
say that as well. Then I've got no issue. I'm not going to hold you to anything. Okay.
Right.
But tell me a bit about home.
Home?
And about home life, about growing up. Over there, obviously you've got autism and kind of growing up in that sense. But Florida is a lovely place.
Yeah, it's definitely very multicultural, similar to here. And like it was very stable. Like I mean, I grew up in like a small town, like nothing like crazy about it. Like, but even like as a kid, like I was like, oh, why are we in Florida? Like, why aren't we in New York? Because that's where I was born. So I always like, even as a kid, like wanted more for myself, and like even as a kid, I was like, oh, I can't wait to be an adult because I'm like, like I had trouble like in school, like not academically. I was great academically. It was more like other students, and then and then to go back into like the inspirational porn part of it was, I would have teachers that like worshiped me or felt like they worshiped me, and they're like, oh, Gabby's such a good student, oh, like she's so precocious, or oh, so mature for her age, looks like she gets these things done. But then like my peers like thought I was annoying or didn't want anything to do with me. So it's like even growing up I had this like complex of I have a show, like a line in my show is life as an inspirational porn star means you're either idolized or inconvenient. So it's trying to find the balance of like, or reconciling with two perceptions when in a perfect world you shouldn't really care about what anyone thinks, but that's not really fair.
I think especially in the entertainment world, like you have to care what people think,
Right.
And like through all the entertainers that I've spoken to over the past couple of weeks, the one common theme is like me, and I'm sorry if I keep coming back to it,
No,
but
you're good.
clearly something isn't working, but something isn't connecting with you at the moment because you're holding on to something here. I can see it. You're holding it in, and I don't really know where I was going with that, but I just knew. Well, first of all, are you okay?
I guess like I just feel so embarrassed, like being this, like, because this is a big thing and this is emotional. And I'll be honest, I think having like the Wednesday show was still a good show, but like I mentioned before the cameras were on, like I mean, there were three important people that I thought were coming, like reviewers and things, and then them not coming. But then you see other shows where they're getting the things, and it's hard to not take it personally. And I know it's I'm sorry.
No,
this is just
let me say this, and I'm going to say this like completely. I'm say this to the camera completely.
Yeah.
There's a really common thing that happens, especially with like neurodivergent people, when it comes to kind of showing up.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you don't show up. If you've committed to something, commit.
I know I don't want the podcast to
No,
turn into that.
No. I'm just.
It's sorry. This is
Listen, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. And I wasn't talking about like audience. I was talking about those reviewers and stuff that had committed to being there, and then just
I know, but it's like it's at the same time. It's like no one's really. So the gag of my show is like the whole complex I have as a quote inspirational porn star is that I shouldn't feel like people showing up for me is such an important thing, because that's the bare minimum. And for a long time I felt as though the bare minimum was like something I should be lucky to have, and this is no exception. And unfortunately, like what's beautiful about art when you're either participating in it or seeing it is that it forces you to confront those things. And I guess through this process, there's still things I'm working out. Like, I don't know if you're into woo woo things, but like there's shadow work where it's like, you're expelling the demons, so to speak. And this, I guess, is that on a scale that could never have predicted. And I don't, and you know what? That's just life. It's fucking life where things are not going to work out how you expect or what you want. And this is a big festival. I don't regret doing it. And, then I'll have people say, like, well, you got to be realistic. There's like 5,000 other artists. And it's true. And especially with what I'm doing, like, there's a litany of things like I could be doing better or that I didn't think through or could have prepared more. I don't know. But I'll say like crying on a podcast like 2 minutes in was not on my bucket list. That one I'm not. But at the same time, unfortunately I'm at a point where, or not even unfortunately, I think in a way, I guess it feels like, okay, I'm safe enough to express this with you, which says a lot. And, in the beginning, you did see, like, the full mask, which is, like, a big theme I talk about in the show. And I'm at a point, I guess, like, physically and holding on emotionally and trying to work out spiritually. And it's hard to keep the mask up during those times. So even like somebody saying like, are you okay? Or I had another interviewer that asked me like, well, what are you doing for you? Because, you're trying to do all this for other people. And that's hard too, because it's unfortunately like, not the way I'm wired, but it's what we're doing in theater is especially hard because it's like, yeah, you do need that. You shouldn't need the audience, but that is what theater is meant to do. Yeah. It's meant to be seen. So it's just reconciling with all of that. And, it is a real test of faith at the end of the day. And especially like, for someone like myself, like, I even had somebody ask me like, oh, are there any accommodations for you? And I laughed because I'm like what could they possibly do or, or how do I even know how to ask for that? Because I have a whole story about how I essentially I developed shame over having accommodations. Because I had a math teacher, tell the entire class I was autistic. Like, even though that's against, the law.
Without your permission, right?
Oh, no. It literally was so, yeah, one of the stories I have in my show is basically, my crush at the time asked my teacher why I got extra time on my test. And my math teacher was like, oh, it's because she's autistic. Just completely in front of me. And I say how that's the beginning of the end. And so now being 31 years old, over a decade of that, and now my dad's calling me. There's a lot of things I'm realizing I still need to work out. But yeah, this whole experience, it's physically draining, emotionally testing, but that's life. And I'm doing something that is making me feel alive. And that's okay.
How long is your run again? How long are you here for?
I'm here to the 11th. So it's a short run. So maybe extra embarrassing. I'm crying early.
So it's total ironic here because I know that I'm going to sound like one of those people who I don't want to sound like.
Right.
And certainly with your show, I don't want to be the inspirational porn star.
Yeah.
But what can we do to help these last few days? Or have you got a plan in place?
I have honestly seeing other people's shows have been very helpful, just to get out of my own head. It's one of those things where it's like if I just distract myself, then I'm fine. And even this went in a totally different direction than what I was expecting, but that's kind of the magic of Fringe. Fringe takes you in places where you didn't know you needed to go or wanted to go, but you end up there and then you make it work, or it works for you somehow.
Yeah.
But
I know you said you don't regret it.
No.
But given the choice, would you do it again? And what would you change if you were to change anything?
Yeah, I'd probably do a couple a little bit more research on venues before, not just take the first. I mean, not that my venue is bad. It's it's just I think there's just a lot more I needed to know or learn about myself. Or I would also say maybe applying for touring a place before the show was even produced is not the smartest thing either. Just a lot, because I spent my whole life, like, I guess, winging it, or just being like, if I don't get this done, like, right now, then I'll never do it. And so, I mean, but the thing is, like, the things I would have known I would not have done had I not done this. So, it'll be okay. And then I'm sorry this podcast got off to a very weird, heavy start. But I'll be fine, and I'll put on my makeup and costumes again, and then but it gets a little Groundhog Day after a while, but I don't regret it. It's beautiful. I'm having a great time. Just a tad verklempt.
So when the other interviewer asked you, what are you doing for you?
Yeah.
What did you answer?
I mean, like, there were a few things I did. Like, I booked myself a massage. It's just hard when, like, your hyper interest in thing is the thing that you want to make work. Mm-hmm. And so, but it's just, I don't know, I just have to, like, keep going, and I know I do have people, like, supporting me. It's just getting out of my own head, really. And, like, I know people are proud of me, and, like, even just doing this is, like, a big deal. I guess it goes back to the whole, because I even say in my show, like, I'm tired of, like, my greatest achievements being everyone else's bare minimum. And so I don't want to feel like, oh, because you did it, that's good enough. Like, I never like being that person. It's like, oh, the fact that you even did this is like, and I shouldn't say it, and it's not an insult at all, but it's like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me.
Also, taking a show to Fringe is not anybody's bare minimum.
No.
Not even a wee bit. Like, there are millions of people out there in the world who have wanted to do something like this and haven't. So,
no, and I'm proud of myself for that.
Yeah.
Alone, too. But yeah, I guess, unfortunately it caught me in a weird emotional place, and I want this podcast to be good, too. So it's like, yeah.
But at the end of the day, you needed this. You needed to let some of that out.
Yeah.
Because if you were holding on to... I've got this silly analogy that I use with children when I do my talks in the schools, and it's about like a Coke can, like a can of Coca-Cola. And I've still got the same can that I've used for 5 years. I've still got it in the house. And it's... I would say, imagine that this can is all your emotions.
Yeah.
And you try and keep that in, eventually, it's going to fizzle up and it's going to all come out at one go.
Yeah.
And if you shake that can up, all these emotions are going to come piling out. But if you don't have a shaken up can and you open it up, it's all going to come out kind of at a reasonable pace. You don't want it all to come out and explode, and I think letting it out, bit by bit. Whereas I think here, correct me if I'm wrong, but here I feel as if you are that shaken up Coke can, and we've just went
a little bit, even just. And I guess like it's embarrassing too, because like I'm used to being the person on the other side, where I rather have people, let it out for me and I can take it, but I can only let so much of myself out, and it just it's
You know yourself that if somebody tries in front of you and all that, it's a challenge for me as well, because you know that as an artistic person sometimes these sort of things happen. But so this has been an experience for me as well to kind of try and navigate this. But I tell you right now, I don't hate it. Not in a like
no,
you know what I mean. It's not like I'm not uncomfortable is what I'm saying. I want to try and help kind of guide you through this without being those type of people that you talk about in your show.
No, of course.
So tell me more about the show. Tell me what you love about your show. Like, if you were to say those 60 minutes, 55 minutes, however long it is.
60 minutes. Yeah.
Out of those 60 minutes, give me some really some parts of it that you just absolutely adore, that you love?
Yeah, I would have to say like some of my favorite parts is I do talk about like the history of Asperger's syndrome specifically because people don't realize that's based in like Nazi roots, but I do it, and I also make fun of Elon Musk during it, which is very fun.
Yeah.
It's actually like one of my favorite bits. I have way too much fun with it, and but it's important too because it's like people, would still say I'm high functioning, and I'm like, oh, that's insulting me as an autistic and a Jew. Let me tell you why. And so yeah, that's always fun. There's like this one story I have like in middle school where I was like flirting with this guy that I had a crush on, and he basically said that I had a nice ass, and I first response was like, I don't understand. That's where I poop. Like I don't know how to like what so like those
Very
little awkward
literal, yeah.
literal, and like also I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and so that's really a lot of like where my humor comes from is like I didn't know what the hell was happening. We're just rolling with it, and that's also kind of how life works. And even with this, like even my emotions, unfortunately the odd ADHD of me is like just jingle keys or like, hey, talk about like this fun thing. I'm like, okay, I feel better now. And so rather than me dealing with the like that's the thing too. It's like once I'm doing my show, like I feel great. It's balancing the everything around it.
And there is something very special about being on stage, and like I always used to, because I've got a like load of conditions going on, like with terms of arthritis and things like that. And I've always said since day one that when you're on stage, nothing hurts. And
I talk about that too in my show. Like I say, like on stage, I can control what happens, and life is a constant improv. So it's just trying to find like the stability of it all, and I think what's funny, like with Fringe, is like every time I try to plan something, it like explodes. Not explodes, but it's like it never works out like how I want. And there's like a level of detachment you have to have, like in this industry, but especially here on steroids, where you can't really commit to things because you don't know how it's gonna go or feel. So and I guess too, like, back home, everyone's like, oh my God, the show's going to do so good in Edinburgh. Like, people are going to love it. But I don't think I acknowledged how, I went from like a fish in like a small pond to like, oh, now I'm in the Pacific Ocean and not aware of how big it was. But it's also humbling too, because I know a lot of people, especially in Florida, that or maybe not even just Florida necessarily, but there are people that love to say how it's like, oh, this area is not as good as Atlanta, or it's not as good as this place because the people just want like are mediocre, like people talk like that where they're like, oh, like everyone's just fine with good enough, like like no one wants to actually whatever. Or I've met like other people that are like, oh, this place is so beneath me, yet I'm so much better. And it's like, okay, well, you haven't even left. Like so how do you even know? And I know I'm brave enough to like actually find out for myself. Like, yeah, it's hard, but I'm not like, I don't feel like I don't belong here. I'm more frustrated at the, like if I knew the right person to like see my show and be like, oh, this has to get big. But it's my first Fringe too, so it's like I shouldn't feel so emotional about it. It's like, but it's still like I'm doing the thing, and that's great.
And again, that is not bare minimum. I don't want to stress that, but that is not bare minimum being here.
Yeah, no, I know like being here is not bare minimum. I guess it's just the getting over the like shock that I've made it this far kind of thing, because I feel like I've had that like impression. It's like I shouldn't feel like good things happening to me is such a, it shouldn't be so newsworthy, as I say in my show. It's like, oh, people going out of their way for me. That's not like a new, like stop the press. And that's what inspirational porn is in a fucked up sense, where it's like, oh, stop the presses. People are being nice to this autistic girl that's crying. Like that's, it's like it shouldn't be that shocking. and I didn't and through my show I didn't realize how internalized it was. I mean, even right now, I'm literally crying, and like everyone around here doesn't give a shit. So it's like,
it's Edinburgh, that's it.
Yeah, literally, it's like, oh, this is what the 5th person that's crying about their show. Wow, but you know, it's like that's what's I think I'm reconciling with every time I do my show, and I even say like, you know, you've all been active participants. All I ask for you is to show up, because who would? Exactly. So it's like, and then saying that every night, it's been like, what hell did I write myself into? Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
I mean, you know, but that's what art is. And it's like, and it's beautiful because of that. So, but I don't know how many other people would be willing to put themselves through it. And not to say like, wow, I'm so much better than you because I'm such a tortured artist. You know, but I'll laugh about this.
But at the same point, and again, I'm not trying to blow smoke here or anything, but
No,
at
I
the
know
same
you're
point,
not.
I mean, there is a hell of a lot of bravery going up on that stage in front of 6 people. And I can tell you right now, like, and I can't remember if I said this to you or to somebody else, but when I do like amateur musical theatre or anything like that,
Yeah.
and I get more comfortable the bigger the audience is.
I literally feel the exact same way.
I don't think I could perform in front of like 3 people, in front of 6 people, and I know you definitely said this when we first spoke. Those 3 people or those 6 people chose you.
Yeah.
And yeah, you said that to me the last time as well, but that kind of thought process towards it, and I think that's something that we need to try and keep in mind as well. Is that nobody didn't choose you, but 6 people did.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it does, and I think too, it's like, I think it's also just a very common like neurodivergent problem where we're so, and I say this too, especially as like a woman that's neurodivergent, is like we're always like our whole lives we're focused on what we lack. Like it's very hard to think about what we're good at because we're constantly, you know, compared to somebody else. And you know, and there'll be even points where I'm like, okay, I don't think this person actually thinks I'm who they're thinking of, you know, just because they're in this sea of talent. And, you know, like something I've been trying to focus on is like assume positive intent to people and, you know, and also, of course, not take things personally.
It's difficult not to, though.
Yeah.
I understand that.
And even like just like little things of, yeah, it's definitely been hard, but I don't regret it. I know nothing bad's happened. It's like something like even my mom said, like nothing bad happened. Like you don't need to be crying about it. It's like literally nothing happened. And it's getting progressively better, and we still have another weekend. So I mean, I have faith. But yeah, it's just I think it's hard to like sometimes like I'm still focusing on the positives, but it's hard to like I guess shake off weirdly.
Do you think you'll come out of this feeling that you've grown as an artist?
I think after a nice long nap, for sure. No, I know this is what always happens. It's like I get emotional and then I just either need to eat or I did just eat. But it's just, yeah, it's been a lot of change all at once. And it's just a lot of highs, a lot of lows. And, you know, I know I'm at like a very specific breaking. Well, I'm not breaking, but I know most people would not have been able to handle what I'm handling. And even like if this is me at my worst, then I'm doing pretty dang good. Because who can monetize tears like I can?
Yeah. I like that. I've got that as my thumbnail now, ready to go. Oh, now I lost my train of thought there because I made you laugh, and now I'm away. Let me just get my train. This is the joy of editing. Let me just get my train of thought back.
Let's just cut that entire first half, and then we'll
just go here. You're smiling now, so that's it. We've got it now.
Yeah.
how has it been hanging out with your friends in a country like this?
Oh my gosh,
Over here.
it's honestly just a dream. Like literally just seeing mountains, honestly, especially being in Florida. Like the weather's great. Literally, Tampa was 38 degrees Celsius
Can't-
when I left.
No, can't do it.
Yeah, no, I looked up specifically how that what that was just to like
Yeah.
scare you guys.
Oh yeah, because you do Fahrenheit, don't you?
Yeah, we do Fahrenheit. We do everything stupid. So yeah, and then also adjusting to like. This is really funny. Probably another reason why I'm so emotional is because I found out the hard way. I'm also gluten intolerant.
Oh no.
I'm fine though. I found out that like your oat milk isn't inherently gluten free. In America, that's like a given. It's like oat milk is gluten free. But I've been drinking it for like 4 days because I don't do dairy. And then it wasn't until like I went to like a coffee shop they were like, oat milk is gluten, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so I almost wonder if it's like residual of that too. So there's just been a lot of things I'm fighting against. But no, it's been a dream, and it's just we're having so much fun. There are times where we got on each other's nerves, but we got past it pretty quickly.
Are they all performers as well?
They're my tech.
Oh, they're your tech,
Yes.
so they're your team.
Yes,
Well, that's
yeah.
even better.
Yeah, no, it's Mitch and I against the world right now. Well, that sounds more dramatic than I meant it to be. But no,
Oh
they're
yeah, wait, I remember because Mitch, is that what you said?
Mitch,
They
yeah.
came with you.
They came with
That's
me,
right,
yeah.
I remember now.
So
yeah.
they're my tech for the show, also running social media, wearing mini hats. They're my left brain. Couldn't do this without them. That's for sure.
Are you okay?
I feel much better, yeah.
Good.
No, that was weird.
I wasn't expecting it.
I didn't either. I'm embarrassed, but it's fine.
What I will say is, I will completely commend your ability to keep pushing, especially when you get idiots like me who are terrible at replying at things or organising things at the last minute.
Oh, yeah.
But you kept on, and I'm so glad that you did, because I really... Okay, yes, you crying on my podcast is, that is what it is, but getting to actually just sit and talk to you and engage. I charge £150 an hour for this kind of therapy, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, okay, I've noted.
Yep,
Noted.
Venmo.
Yeah.
Venmo, is that what you call it?
Venmo, yeah. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, all that's it.
What are the plans for home when you go back home? Are you leaving?
Yeah, pretty much, unfortunately. And I think that's the other like hard part too, is like it's the running in the back of my head. Like it's like even on days where I am trying to do the touristy thing, it's like, oh, I still got my show. And so the flight back, I mean, I love it here, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not like in a rush to go back to Florida per se, but I do miss this summer I've just been nonstop. Like I've had like my Tampa Fringe run, and then I was in another Shakespeare play, and then immediately after that was over, 2 days later I was on the flight here.
Shakespeare's intense as well.
Yeah, and so it's been a lot. So when I get home, I'm probably going to crash and burn.
Good. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
you need to just stop every now and again.
Yeah, but I mean, I say that, but then I'm like, I'll probably still find myself doing something. But definitely a good chance to like recoup, research other venues or other festivals to, and then I will be back in Edinburgh with a vengeance now that I know what to expect, and even seeing other shows gives me research as to, what plays I want to see. Or not even plays I want to see, but like I get a chance to explore the venue. So, and I guess in a way I am a bit more of a kinesthetic, like visual person. So it's like you could read all about the things, but it's like seeing it in person is like, like, okay, I got to see what this place is like. All right. And what I've been doing with Edinburgh is like I just kind of go to a random venue, and then whatever times the shows are that I'm there, I just see those. And it's just completely random. And I'm sure people are thinking like that with my shows too. So that's another reason why I shouldn't take these things personally. Ignore all the crying.
I'm going to give you an example of how easy it is to take things personally, right? And I'm sure this has happened to you as well.
Right.
COVID.
Right.
2019, I wrote a book that kind of took off. It was a #1 bestseller. It was all great,
Nice.
and we were in a part of that book cycle where I was out promoting every day. I was visiting schools. I was doing all this,
Yeah.
and we were doing okay. Like even financially, we were actually starting to do okay.
Uh-huh.
And then COVID came, and obviously the first thing that went was the schools. Schools
Right.
closed. That's my market in a way.
Right.
And for those 2 years, all I could think of was, why is the world doing this to me? And there were millions of people around the world that were in the same boat, worse off than me. But
Right.
my thought throughout that entire 2 year was, why me? Finally starting to get it together. Why now? Why me? So I understand how
Yeah.
easy it is to take these sort of things personally.
Yeah, I had something like that happen to me with like COVID too, where initially the show was going to be at the Tampa 2020 Fringe, and then also got into like Vancouver too.
Nice.
But then, of course, neither of those things worked out at the time they did. But I know the universe has my back, and the things like because there's a reason why it took me 6 years to write this show, because a lot of the things that have happened I didn't even experience yet, and I needed to. And this is just another one of those things where, because it's like, not that I was expecting to be like instantly famous out of it, but I guess it was one of those like, you get like tunnel vision where you're like, oh, my thing is great. Like, why wouldn't other people? And then it is also a weird concept too, like how I'm portraying autism and I'm going out of my way to not give the cookie cutter, like happy, like, look at me, I'm thriving energy, And so I wonder if that's also like the world's not quite as ready for it yet. But it's my first Fringe, and there's a lot that I'm learning and still learning. And
there is something that's
but it's one of those things where it's like I feel like timing is everything, and
Yeah.
this Fringe, from what I've heard, it's like there's an Oasis concert, that
Literally
storm
tonight.
yeah, that storm didn't help at all. Like because I've heard that was a lot of like catch up from like a lot of shows were canceled Monday and people couldn't see them.
Yeah,
so.
I couldn't get into Edinburgh that day either. It was really bad.
Yeah.
With the storm. You've mentioned a couple of times about spirituality and believing that the universe has your back. And I know a lot of people that have kind of changed. Their lives have changed once they start believing in that sort of stuff. And I would love to. I've read the book. I've read The Secret.
Oh yeah.
I've read all of that, and I've taken some of it on board. But how strongly do you believe in that faith, and how strong is your faith in that, believing that the universe is with you? Because I think that's something that is important to have.
Well, especially through this, because like in this industry, I've learned like you have to like they joke like, oh, you have to have this like delusion in yourself in order to get through anything. Because if I was being realistic, I would not be here, and I've made it already this far, and especially to like I wouldn't be giving up now because it's stupid. Also very expensive, and so it's like you have to have that intrinsic belief in yourself. And there are some people that have this unshakable faith in themselves and what they're doing without like the external validation, and I'm trying to get to that. I mean, I'm already here, so I definitely have gotten somewhere. But I would be lying if I said like, when things have been discouraging, it gets a little shaky, but like I have to see it through. So it'll work out.
So we have what are we on Friday? We have three shows left.
3 shows left, yeah.
3 shows left. Tell us the finer details of where it is, because I'm going to do my best to get this edited down and up tonight.
Yay, awesome. So it's at just it's at the Snifter Room in the Mash House at 8:35, basically from now until the 11th. And I still have a good feeling, like, because I have this feeling that, like, everyone usually sees shows towards the end of the runs anyway. I even tell people, like, if I'm in the show, it's like, you can come after the first or second weekend. Like, you know, not. I've been in some shows where I'm like, okay, I don't know how this show's going to go. So come after, like, and, you know, after all, working at the Kinks and things, you know, I think it'll be solid. And, you know, we had 6 people last night, so it's only going to get better.
So
And it has been getting better.
You doubled your audience.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I definitely have. And there's just, if I am mindful of those little things, it'll all work out. And it's not, you know, and I'm doing my best with what I have. It's just, you know, it can, but if you get caught up in, like, you know, oh, look at these bigger posters, oh, look at these bigger names, then yeah, you're going to make yourself miserable. So I'm trying not to focus on those things, and I'm appreciative of the people that are hearing me out, even when I have a mental breakdown on a podcast. That's either be really good or really not good.
Right. So, and again, I feel as I'm going to blow smoke here again.
Please.
But nobody else has showed up at that coffee shop and went, right, interview me. Like, nobody, just you, right? Nobody has been as persistent as you are, and persistent is a good thing. I mean, so I used to think that me being persistent was annoying. Mm-hmm. It's not, right? It is a completely good thing because you're keeping me right as well with all my tisms pouring at me. In the past 2 weeks, I've interviewed maybe about another 50 acts, and nobody has got the work ethic that you've got in promoting it. And that stands out. And I'm not trying to say that to be the saviour or anything.
No, I know you're not.
It's 100% fact. I've got 3 little girls, and I live in a world where consent is everything. Mm-hmm. I have been sat here for the past 45 minutes, absolutely wanting to give you a hug.
Aww.
Are you okay for it?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm the same. I don't like being touched sometimes, but it's right, and I want to see myself. I'm looking at about that. No, you're good. Listen, you're good. All right.